Welcome to the Law School Insider, where we have conversations with students, lawyers, and employers.
Succeeding in law school is something that you must prepare for, not only before you begin, but throughout your law school journey, and that's what this podcast is all about. I am your host, Dr. Christopher Lewis, and I will draw from my over 20 years of experience in the college admission field, as well as bring forth the experiences of others as we delve deeper into the issues. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Law School Insider. I'm your host, Dr. Christopher Lewis, and I'm so excited to be able to have you back again this week. This week, I'm really excited to be able to bring you Laura McClellan. And Laura, she is of counsel of K&L Gates, which is a large firm. Her primary focus area is on real estate law, and we're going to be talking to her about her journey into her career, but also some of the experiences that she's had to find success and how you can find that success as well. So, Laura, thanks so much for joining us this week.
Well, thank you for having me. It's an honor. Happy to be here with you.
Now, Laura, I always start the show by taking us back in time because this show is all about law school success, and we want to know about the journey that you've been on. So let's go back in time. Let's reel back the clock a little bit and look at some of the genesis of your interest in the law. And let's go back to where that started. What was it about the law that really drew you in and made you have an interest to actually go study this?
Boy, that's a long story to tell. I mean, way back when I was in high school, a teacher of mine told me that she thought I'd make a good lawyer. And I'm not sure whether it was a compliment or not. I think it was because I talked a lot and I liked to read a lot and stuff. But it kind of caught my attention. But at the time I thought, well, that would be cool, but that's not for me. I'm from a very blue-collar family, and I thought only the rich kids went to law school. So I sort of dismissed the idea and went and did other things, including marrying very young and then starting our family a couple years later. And so fast forward, into my mid-30s, and I had been married since I was 18. We already had 5 kids, and I was finishing up my undergrad. And there's a whole long story about why that was happening so late. And my advisor in the political science department encouraged me to consider it. And I came home one day from class and was talking to my husband about school. And I said, you know, what I really want to do, I've always kind of thought it would be cool. I'd like to be a lawyer. And my husband said, well, then you should just do that. And I thought, oh, I can do that. And so again, fast forward more, that's what I did. What drew me to it, I think, is I've always had maybe an overdeveloped sense of justice. I've always wanted to do something meaningful that could sort of serve the public good. And I love to read. I love to think. I love to talk about things like the law with people. And, it's not a real unique story in that sense. I just intellectually find it fascinating how cases are decided and all that sort of thing.
Now, you went through law school as a non-traditional student. You said you went a little bit later in life. And so talk to us a little bit about that. What was it like to go through law school as a non-traditional student? Because I know that there are a number of people that listen to the show that may be in the same situation. They may be kind of questioning for themselves. Am I too old to go to law school? Can I do this? When there's all these traditional age students, these young students that are there. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Well, sure. And my answer to anybody who says, am I too old to go, would be no. I was 35 when I started law school. And like I said, I'd been married for a long time and had 5 kids. Our youngest was a year old when I started law school. And I was not the oldest person in my class at Cornell. So I actually think it was an advantage to me in a lot of ways. First of all, when I was in, first year contracts class, I had actually signed contracts before, where maybe some of the younger students who'd gone, from high school to college to law school hadn't had some of the life experiences I had. I think it served me well to have that different perspective, some life experiences that I brought to the study of the law and to the experience of law school. And I knew why I was there. I was there on purpose. I hadn't just fallen into it because I couldn't think of something else to do. And I have friends who have admitted, they went to law school just because they hadn't decided what they wanted to do when they were in their senior year of college and hadn't decided what they wanted to do. And so, well, I'll go to law school then. That was not me. I was there on purpose and for a purpose. And in my experience, the non-traditional students who came to the study of law later in life share that in a lot of ways. It's a very intentional choice on that part, and it serves them well.
I have seen that as well in the students that I work with on a daily basis that are coming back to law school and are coming with that purpose in mind. And, if there is a student, let's say a student that may not have that purpose yet, that they feel that they feel driven to go to law school, but may not know what that purpose may be, do you have any thoughts on things that they can do to be able to identify what that purpose is for themselves?
For me, I think I would say once you get beyond the first year classes that are required of you, look around and see what the other alternatives are, what the electives are that are available to you. Try them out, and talk to other lawyers. Take any opportunity you can. If the school brings in speakers that are maybe practicing lawyers, talk to them about what they do and how they like it and what they like about it. Obviously, if you can get a chance to be an intern in an office or the summer associate program kind of thing, definitely explore that. But keep your eyes open and your ears open and ask lots of questions. What I'm doing now is not what I intended to do when I went to law school, but I'm very happy with the choice that I made.
Well, talking about that, you're working in real estate law. You said this wasn't the intended area. So what was your intended area, and how did you end up finding yourself not only first moving into real estate, but what sustained you in staying in real estate law?
When I went to law school, I intended to be a trial lawyer. That's what I had always thought I would want to be. It was what my intent was, and most of the electives that I took were litigation oriented. I went at a different time. I've been out of law school for a while, and at the time that I was in, the market was very different, and firms were recruiting very heavily and hiring lots and lots of summer associates. And it's different now. But the firm that I went to the first half of my summer after second year, they said, we're going to rotate you through 2 sections. Which ones would you like to be in? And I said, well, I'm going to be there for 7 weeks. I want 4 weeks in litigation and then 3 weeks in any transactional practice. I just want to see what they do because I thought it would be instructive to me as a trial lawyer to know what happens on the transactional side. They put me in real estate, and I really liked the people in that section. And I was still torn because I had always thought I wanted to be a trial lawyer, but ultimately, I just felt like the opportunities for me were going to be different. The working environment for a transactional real estate lawyer is different than a trial practice in the sense of it was and is very collaborative and there's less fighting that goes on. I liked and still like the fact that when I finish a real estate transaction, there is usually a tangible outcome that I can point to. I practice in Dallas, and I can drive through Dallas and point to buildings and say, I did the financing on that. I represented the lender that funded the construction of that office tower or that shopping center or, whatever. And I just like that. I like solving problems for the clients. But what drew me originally was the people in the real estate section of the firm that I was a summer associate at.
Now, thinking back to your own law school experience, are there things that you wish that you had accomplished, things that you wish that you would have done, things that would have set you on the path to either even further success than you have found today?
I think I was really fortunate to have a lot of opportunities where I was to try some different things. And maybe if I could have done anything different, I think I would have liked to have worked in one of the law clinics that the school that I was at sponsored. I didn't get to do that. And I don't know if that answers the question fully because I'm not sure whether it would have moved me forward to greater success, but it's an experience I wish I had. I got to work as a research assistant for one of my professors. I got to work for the city attorney's office for a while. I did a moot court competition. I did law review. And so all those experiences definitely helped. But I think what makes the biggest difference is the people that you get a chance to interact with, both your classmates and the professors and practitioners that come in for various reasons. And I really feel like I took pretty good advantage of, I had the challenge of I had kids at home that I had to take care of, but I don't consider that a disadvantage at all. It just was different.
Now, I want to go back to what you were talking about as a non-traditional student in the 5 kids and a significant other and having to balance all of that, plus going to school and getting the grades that you needed to be able to graduate and to find that success in that regard. How did you do it? What were some of the strategies that you adopted to be able to manage your life and be able to balance all of that?
Oh, that's such a great question. I mean, it's going to be different for everybody, obviously. What I did, first of all, I have to give credit where credit is due. My husband stepped up, and for the 10 years or so before we moved to Ithaca and I started law school, I was a stay-at-home mom, and I did the cooking and the laundry, and I did, I took care of the kids and did all that stuff. And Mike really stepped up and took over a lot of that stuff to let me focus on school. I mean, I still did the laundry because I'm neurotic about that, but he often did the cooking because I wasn't home at dinner time. So I feel like I had the advantage of a husband who was very supportive and willing to take some of the load off my shoulders. Aside from that, I've been a productivity nerd since I was very young, and so I had many years of practice of managing to-do lists and managing my calendar and kind of being organized about the things that I did, and that helped a lot. I think whatever stage of life you're at, if you want to accomplish something really worthwhile and something as demanding as law school, and still have a life, whether you're married or not, whether you have kids or not, whether you have a part-time job or whatever, you really have to stay on top of all those things. And for me, it's the skills I had learned before that of always writing everything on the calendar and keeping a to-do list and consulting it regularly and scheduling time to study and to do the other things that I needed to do. All those kinds of skills were really indispensable when I was in law school. And then I just tried to be present, really there. And when I was at school, I tried to just really be at school and really be focused and on what I was doing there. And when I was home and it was time to be with the family, I tried to just set the school stuff aside and be there with them and for them, which is not to say it's easy. When it's around time studying for finals and taking finals, we all lose our minds. But that's a relatively small piece of the year.
Now, before we end up today, I always like to be able to offer you an opportunity to give any other parting advice, any other hints, tips, resources that you think would help someone as they're either coming into law school, going through law school, or even entering their first career into being able to be successful on that law journey.
There's so many things I could say, but what keeps coming to mind is that it's the people that are going to stick with you throughout your life, the relationships you make with your classmates or the professors or whatever in school can carry over in ways that might surprise you going forward. And similarly, if you're just starting your first job at a law firm or starting a firm, on your own, hanging out your shingle, the people you interact with, developing relationships will take you a very long way. And maybe that's not the traditional advice. Obviously, you need to study. If you're in school, in law school, you've got to pay attention to the professors and take good notes and study and do well on the exams and do whatever activities appeal to you in terms of, sort of adding those things to your resume. Those things are all important, but at the end of the day, you as a lawyer have to be a people person. in order to attract and keep clients, you have to be able to build working relationships with them and with your colleagues and with counsel on the other side of the deal. And so learning how to interact with people of all kinds of backgrounds and all kinds of opinions and have a collaborative relationship with them, regardless of what side of the table they sit on. I think that's probably, the school will teach you how to think like a lawyer. That's what law schools do. But the rest of it, you're going to learn on the job. And the biggest part of it, I really think, is learning to be a civil human being and work with people all across the spectrum.
Great advice, and I love the story. I appreciate you being on with us today, Laura, and I know that everyone that is listening is going to learn from what you have shared. And I'm really encouraged to watch your future success come through and be able to stay in touch with you in the future.
Well, it's my privilege to be here, and if I can do anything to help any of your listeners, have them email me. I'm happy to talk with anybody.
Well, I will put your email in our notes today and let people know to reach out, because as we've said in the past on our show, it is so important to be able to build that network. And you just heard Laura offer an opportunity for you to be able to connect with her. So please take advantage of this, reach out to her, say hello. And Laura, thank you again. And we'll be talking again soon.
All right. Thank you.
Well, that was another great guest this week on the Law School Insider. If you have an interest in being a guest on the show, drop me an email at lawschoolinsider@cooley, COOLEY.edu. And thank you all for listening today. And remember, you have the ability and right to take control of your law school's success. I hope you'll continue listening, creating a plan for success that will prepare you to achieve the dreams that you have set for yourself. Talk to you next time. Thanks for listening. You're on your way to being a law school insider. Please subscribe to stay connected and come back again next time as we speak to more students, lawyers, and employers.